What is going on? My name is zmot and I am here with a bit of a special video. I've been requested or invited to be a guest mentor in the task force that is called Reddit Trichon 2.0, and this is a fantastic idea that I have never seen done anywhere else. And so what they're doing is every week they're inviting someone to be their guest mentor. And that mentor's job is to write all the notes and plan the operation and direct traffic. And what they're going to do is, so looking at their general operations, is they generally do somewhere between stronghold or curtain call or choke point or dead end. So what they're going to do is every time the mentor comes in, they will, just one sec here, they will invite the mentor in, and that mentor's job will be to push the limits. Now, so what they've done here is they've decided that they're going to have a mentor in every Thursday. That mentor's job will be push the limits, do a higher level operation than the task force is used to, direct traffic, decide where things go, how things are going to go. And I've been completely honored to be the second ever guest mentor. Now, first off, I have to apologize straight out. It's my 10th wedding anniversary, so I've been drinking my face off with my wife, but I had to get this video published, so I snuck away for hopefully 10 minutes, and I will record this video. What we're going to do is we're going to go over all of the attacks that went into this operation. I'll explain where things went good, where things went bad, and how Reddit Trichon 2.0 can do better. Now, the primary audience for these videos is Reddit Trichon 2.0. If you're not in 2.0, this video might not make it to be public. What I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this video with a review of every single hit that happened, and with their approval, I will publish it for the rest of the internet. So you might not see it. Reddit Trichon 2.0 will definitely see it. And hopefully this becomes a thing, because I have to say the idea of bringing in a different opinion, a different viewpoint, a different set of strategies, all of those sorts of things is a fantastic thing that I have not seen in Boom Beach. And I have to tip my cap to those in Reddit Trichon 2.0 who thought of this. So thank you very much for inviting me. And without further ado, let's get down to brass tacks and let's show off some attacks. Okay, here we go. So as you can see, curtain call, choke point, failed deep cut, deep, dead end, failed, choke point, stronghold, deep cut, a fair mixture of operations. Now, one of the things to be aware of, this is going to look like I'm saying, oh my god, zmot's the best leader in the world, I should lead all attacks, but they had, at about this point, after dead end, they had an influx of talent. They had a merger. There have been a ton of fantastic players come in, so I can claim about 1% worth of credit for this. And the merger / talent and the fact that everyone boosted way more than normal is more to blame. So without further ado, we're going to start out. Now, General J, it was dropped on this task force that they would be have all of their attacks on YouTube with about 3 minutes before the operation started. So the fact that General J, like, let's start at this. Look, the operation started 1 day, 3 hours ago, and you can see that General J attacked 1 day, 3 hours ago. So I have to take my hat off to General J. Knowing that your attack would be shown on YouTube and not something you're used to, this added a huge amount of stress to these players, and I apologize. Thank you very much for being good sports, but General J led things off. Full boost. Actually, let's go back and look at General J's boost. General J was a full boost. with near perfect, I think that's, what is that? That's 6-4, I think, a statute. Now, this Axiom had a little bit of a wrinkle, and then had a shock blaster at 6 o'clock of core. Nice drop, Mr. General J with a nice drop, left to right. And just for a side note, I love left to right. Anyone who goes right to left is a little bit wonky donkey for me. Nice flare, drops brick late. Everything so far, up until now, everything is fantastic. This drop, everything, right now we're at like an A. I'm going to use the D, F minus to A plus kind of grading approach here. Everything is going fairly well. And right about there, everyone starts to walk right. Now, at this point, it becomes apparent that General J did not spend hours and hours watching YouTube. And that is the number one thing that I can recommend to any task force who's trying to do dead end, deep cut, massive attack, is you have to watch YouTube. You see this right there? See that smoke right there? Extra smoke. It was a great save, but it was not necessarily required. Now, gets walking, hits this boom mine right about there. Good thing, saves some GBE, but he's already used this extra smoke back here. Gets walking, uses that smoke right there. Now watch this. Flare into the corner and double smoke. So right now, he's already used one extra smoke below the core and one extra smoke down here. So if he would have used his two smokes together, he could have saved a smoke. But overall, we're still chugging along pretty good. First attack of the operation. Flare, shock, critters, all of this stuff. Like, you saw how fast those shocks came out. All of this stuff is fantastically well. But the problem is, he's already lost the delay. Already used a couple extra smokes, and so those extra couple smokes cost him. But I mean, look at this. Already done half of the core health. So you can't fault him. Like, that is a great attack. In a 25-man doing deep cut, you cannot ask for more than taking off half of the health on the first base. Great attack. I would give that probably a B, because A little bit rushed. Could have checked YouTube, could have seen that path, probably saved two smokes, but overall, pretty great attack. Now, this attack by Feynman just hurts my heart a little bit. Pretty good job. I mean, so let's have a look. What are we at here? We're at I gotta pause that. Here we're at approximately about 1.8 million health, but no machine guns above core, but lots and lots of shock mines. Watch this spot. This is the spot. Bam. Perfect smoke. Very, very good. Everything is going along very, very... His first boat was in the wrong spot, but about the third or the fourth boat jumped in the perfect spot. Brick starts walking. The flare comes out. Everything about this is going fairly well until he starts to get into this corner. Like, mines are being cleared. Everything is happening. That flare comes out a little bit early, though. And as soon as that flare comes out a little bit early, watch this, starts to lose troops. Had he have waited till the Zukas got in that corner, things would have happened a little bit cleaner. And then all of his Zukas just disappeared. But on the flip side, in a 25-man doing deep cut, you'll notice, I know for a fact that Feynman is not happy with that attack. Feynman is capable of fantastic hits, but you'll notice he notices that all his troops are dead, gets these machine guns down to very, very low health, and all of the mines are clear. So if you've been watching this attack from the inside looking outwards, you would have thought, oh crap, we've had one attack that General J probably wasn't happy with, and one attack by Feynman who I guarantee was not happy with. So, but you have to realize the first attack on any base is the most important attack there is. So you'll notice Axiom, Ransom, Phobos, Dioxin. The fact that they went 1, 2, 3, 4 is so critical. So we're going to watch JW3. And again, this attack was not perfect. It was not an A+ attack. Now, as soon as those critters came out to clear boom mines, I crapped my pants a little bit, I'll admit it. But you'll notice that the laser does not reach core. The shock launcher does not see that. So using critters to clear mines, although it seems like a terrible idea, he did it in a spot where the rocket launchers can't see, the shock launcher can't see, so he's not lost his delay here. So I almost gave him like a D- for using critters to clear mines, because you should almost never do that. But this is the one time where it's actually fairly relevant to do it, because he actually saved 2 GBE to do it. And I have to repeat, these are just my opinions. So it's just my opinion, man. So realistically, all of these attacks, you might have different opinions, different ideas, but I'm going to give my gradings based on what I saw here. So JW3 comes in, drops 2 boats. Now, this is a fantastic play, because watch this. He is clearing some cells at core, or sorry, at shore, farming GBE, and doing a fantastic job, because watch this, wait for it. As soon as he gets into those rocket launchers path, uses the side flare, gets walking, and he could have spent a tiny bit more time. What I would have liked to see is to get this 1 cell at shore here. Let's get to get that 1 power cell, but he flares very early, which I have to say is not a bad choice, because Brick will not follow flares most times. So let's get this sped up. Always going well. Good jig. Now this is one of the things that actually, watch this. I'm going to show you. Watch where Brick walks to. Brick, in most circumstances, Brick is going to hit that next boom mine and just be done. But he waits, gets the flare walking, gets the smokes out. Now, double smoke at the end. Anytime you do a double smoke at the end, you're going to get a thumbs up for me, because that is a critical component. Flares the core. I almost called it headquarters. Now watch this shock. Tries for that tough shock to get the shock launcher and the machine gun. Just barely misses. Gets the rocket launchers. Now the machine guns are going to tear him apart a little bit. I think he throws a shock here at the end, but this attack, again, it's so critical to have that first attack where you get the mines cleared, you get the line laid down for the next attacker, and it doesn't matter if you solo it or not, because so far we've got General J laying down the basic line for Axiom, we've got Feynman laying down the basic line for Ransom, and we've got JW3 laying down the basic line for Phobos. Now, along the same lines, we've got Dynamo, which is also the sponsor for Cars 2, I believe, or Cars 1. My kids love that show. And again, right there, please do not use critters to clear mines. For Dioxin, on YouTube, you will see over and over again, it's 1 barrage up here and 1 artillery. Using critters, everything here, you've lost your delay. Please, if you're watching this, do not use critters to clear mines. I know you saved 2 GBE, but please don't do it. Now, again, backing up, Dynamo does not do this hit. This is his first time doing the hit. This is not something he's used to. He does a fantastic job, lays down the path. Now, one thing to note, on Dioxin, never let your Zookas get to flare. If they do, they will do what you see right here. See how they're walking 3 abreast? You never want to have your Zookas doing that. As soon as they get to the flare, They're going to walk 3 abreast. I love saying abreast. And they're going to hit this shock mine right here. But the important part is Dynamo has laid down the groundwork. Like, look at that. That right there makes a bit of a mistake there. Flares the cannon. Little bit unlucky. But I can't explain this enough. The first attacks are just so critical because A, they've cleared the mines, and B, they've laid down the general path. The average task force is not going to spend time on film study. They're not going to be watching YouTube. They're not going to be Googling things. They're going to end up in the CFL with Johnny Manziel because they did not spend time on YouTube. The angry task forces of the world, the Finlandias, all of those kind of task forces, all of these attacks have been done hundreds and hundreds of times. If you can spend the time watching YouTube, your attacks will drastically improve. But instead, 2.0 has had Axiom, Ranson, Phobos, and Dioxin. All of the groundwork has been laid. All they have to do is watch the first 4 attacks and things will get a little bit better. Now, we move on to the 5th base, which again, fantastic. We've got 5 bases in 5 hits. Very, very good. Now, this attack goes a little bit sideways. The note was to move into where about this boom mine was and hit these rocket launchers with 2 boats of Zookas. So, no Mershal. First off, using 2 smokes with 1 boat of Zookas is just one of the things that I found in 2.0 is that they're not entirely used to doing split boat attacks. Once you move up to deep cut, massive attack, Forlorn of Hope, it's all about split boats. Now with split boats, 2 boats of Zookas, 3 boats of Zookas, 4 boats of Zookas only needs a 1 smoke drop. So a little bit unfortunate there. Extra smoke, and he did not clear the mines, so he's not in range of these back rocket launchers. You'll notice that he does a good job. He's actually marked all 4 rocket launchers, but he's just a little bit too far back, so he uses a couple extra shocks. Does a very, very good job of cleanup, though. I mean, farms a little bit of his GBE and recovers fairly well. I have to say, this attack, he recovered very, very well and used his GBE very, very intelligently to get rid of these shore rocket launchers, or at least get close to getting rid of these shore rocket launchers. So, a little bit of a gap on clearing the mines and getting close to the rocket launchers, but when you're not used to doing split boats, these things happen for sure. So, I mean, that attack was not fantastic, but when you're not used to doing split boats, it's very, very understandable. Now, Peter Renzo was very, very uncertain about this, was almost wanted to leave the task force because he did not want his attacks on YouTube. So going into that, just please be aware that some of these attacks, they were not comfortable with their attacks being public or being critiqued. So a little bit of unease here for sure. So let's see what Biterenzo, and I apologize if I'm saying these names wrong. Very, very well done. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about a 2-shock, maybe 3-shock core hit. So very, very smart, following notes, clearing those machine guns. Little bit off. Again, follow the YouTube videos. You can see he's already botched the smokes a little bit, and that right smoke is far, far too early. But at the same time, you can't fault them because he has not lost the delay. He's used a couple extra smokes, maybe 1, maybe 2, but still very, very good. Still has all his troops, gets them walking, following the attack that was laid down. Very, very clean so far. Hopefully he's going to get in the corner. Yes, yes, he is. Now, I would have liked if he would have thrown his last 2 smokes together, but still, See that? Watch this. I'm going to show you in half times mode. Right there. Had he have thrown his last two smokes together, would have been a little bit cleaner, but these are all small details, because the rest, like 90% of his troops are still under smoke. There's the shock, and loses a whole metric ship ton of troops just because he does not have a delay, and he used 1 or 2 extra smokes. So those are the kind of things that will get cleaned up very quickly, though. All of those things, like that attack was about 1 smoke away from being a very good attack. So moving on, Dr. J. Penguino comes in, and you'll notice that we've already had 2 attacks on Ransom, so they already know the line. He's going to clear 1. He's actually, looks like he's going to do a slightly different line here. 3 smoke landing, very clean. Has not lost any delay. All his troops are good, following the same general path that everyone else has done. And I have to say, this path is not the perfect path. This is not where I would recommend task forces going into this corner. If you can go up by core, you save probably 1 smoke. But the fact that it's already been done and the last 2 attackers have followed the path that is working, I have to applaud that. Don't make up your own path. Don't try and do something that's new and great and awesome just because you want to be different. The fact that 2.0 has had players that have followed, look at that, bam, last 2 smokes together, has not lost any troops. This is all fantastic stuff. Way too often you see people try and make up their own paths and it just fails completely. So we got 1 shock, we got 2 shocks, we got 3 shocks, and then he actually, look at this, he actually missed his shock and he's still crushing the core. Like, I can't say enough about that. If you've already had 2 people attack the core, they've already proved that all of the mines are clear. Just follow their path. This was a very good job by Dr. Penguino. And we are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks in. And you'll notice that we had an attack on Axiom, we had an attack on Ransom. Ransom goes down, Axiom goes down, Dioxin goes down. So those first attacks, looking at it from the outside, we had 4 attacks on bases that could have been solos probably, and they all went down on either the next or the second next attack. So call them fails if you want, but the bottom line is they laid the groundwork for the bases to go down very quickly. Now, Paul the Beast is someone who I have played Boom Beach with probably 2 years ago and have not seen for years and years, so it's fantastic to get back to seeing him. Now he takes the original line that has been laid down and improves upon it, which is all you can ask for. Take the first attack, watch it to death, and then improve upon it. He gets the walk going. I wish his flare was a little bit more against that wall, but overall, I mean, this is like, oh, look at that. That scares the crap. That scares me a little bit. But again, loses the delay, 2 shocks, 3 shocks. A little bit iffy down here. But his walk was so nice that he has extra GBE and damage and troops that it doesn't really matter. So overall, we're sitting at, there's 2 bases down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. And then all of a sudden we get John Alt Tab, also known as Control Alt Tab or Shift Alt Tab. I just made that up, by the way. I'm just generic Windows shortcut keys that you have to learn. Little bit dicey there at the beginning because of those shock mines. Double smoke at the end, and I can't stress that enough. Please double smoke at the end. You will notice that about all these attacks that finish bases, double smoke at the end. is just so damn critical. 1, 2, 3. That shock. Hold on. I gotta show that shock. Getting those 4 mortars is one of the tougher shocks in the game. So kudos to John Alt Tab, also known as Shift Alt Tab, Control Alt Tab, and Control Alt Delete. Takes it down. Very, very well done. I don't know what its actual nicknames are. That's just me being a Windows geek. So right now we've had some groundwork attacks, some finishing attacks, and we're doing pretty well. Now, let's watch Mr. Erika. Now, this is where I have a little bit of beef. The note said farm GBE. You see, let's go to half times mode. You see all these cells in here? They are undefended. So he could have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably 30 GBE, but he ignored the note a little bit, and as a result, Brick is stuck on shore, and he has 30 less GBE than he could. Now, obviously, there's a couple extra flares and things like that, but please, people, follow notes, and you will not go wrong, or even question the notes. The note here was to farm some GBE, and as a result, he left about 20 extra GBE on the table, which for a second hit with 25% of the core done, you don't want to be doing that. Now, so far so good. Decent path, decent walk. Nice smokes. All is well. Here comes, and again, you'll notice he did not double smoke. Always, 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 please double smoke at the end. You will see nothing but fantastic things. You'll notice his Zookas have walked out of that smoke. Had he have double smoked at the end, watch this. Oh, he actually got a little bit lucky there. But again, my point still stands. Please, please, double smoke. 1, 2. I have to say, those two shock came out incredibly fast. Very, very well done. But just gets a little bit unlucky and gets into the laser beam's path and loses a huge chunk of his troops. So, I would give that C+, B, nice walk. Did not double smoke at the end and did not take the extra GBE. Little bit sloppy moving into the laser path, but still, all good hits. That's all you can ask for in a task force, is those kind of hits. Now, Maddie, low point. Let's see what the open's like. Now, the note here was universal remote, the shock launcher, and then move in the middle of the rocket launchers. Let's see what he has to say. 1 smoke. That smoke is a little bit low. You'll notice this shock launcher does not range that. He could have moved his smoke up a little bit. There's 1 more smoke. There's a flare. And the 3rd smoke. And a 2nd flare. Now, realistically, he could have done this with 2 smokes or even 1 smoke and 1 flare. He's used 3 smokes and 2 flares, so wasted a little bit of GBE. Not a huge deal, but you'll notice later on it does come back to haunt him. So, one of the things I can recommend, drop Everspark, put her under smoke, drop a 2nd smoke, push the button, and then flare. You don't need that intermediate flare. You will, I mean, with Everspark, if you can save GBE, it will definitely pay off later. Nice drop here. Nice walk. The fact that he flared outside the rocket launchers makes the walk way, way more predictable. Smoke in the end there. Smoke. Now, personally, I would not have shocked boom cannon. Boom cannons shoot once every 3 to 4 seconds. If you lose a troop or 2, not a big deal. I would have saved my GBE there. Do not shock boom cannons when it comes to Zookas, because they just shoot so slow and they shoot the same troops. But otherwise, walks away. Look at this. So close. Drop some critters to clear mines. Now, this is where those extra shocks, extra critters, extra flares start to cost him. He does not have enough GBE to solo this. You'll notice that he's starting to lose troops fairly quickly. He does not have any shocks or critters, so I predicted this space would go down in 1 or 2, and it ended up being 2. So it was not a huge deal. I mean, this attack is like a B minus, C plus, somewhere in there. But the extra GBE for Everspark, extra GBE to shock those boom cannons just cost him the solo. He probably could have had the solo, but just wasted a little bit of GB. And I can't, that's one of the things that I found, that if you want to be a fantastic, very good player, please use friendly challenges. That's one of the things that I found 2.0 did not do enough. If you're not comfortable with Everspark, please use friendly challenges. You will improve drastically. Now, Neil Sanity comes in and finishes it off, drops critters, shocks the boom cannons, clears. This is a fair, like, I don't want to take away from the last hit. The last hit set this up for a very, very easy finish, but it probably could have been a solo if he would have been a little bit more frugal with the GBE, but it was still a nice finish. Moving on, we've got Strange Mechanic hitting Phobos. This is the second hit on Phobos. Now, again, look at all of this free, I think this is actually the third hit on Phobos. Look at all of this free GBE in here, and he's already walking away from it. So definitely lost some points there. Please, if there's free GBE, please use it. It's so important to get that free GBE. It will save your boost, and the more GBE you have, the more mistakes you can have, because you can always cover them up with smokes or shocks or whatever it might be. Loses a brick, not a huge deal. But again, there's already been 2 hits on this base, so to have that diagonal walk and to lose brick is a little bit unfortunate. 3 shocks, very, very well done getting the shocks out. But he probably should have finished that base had he have taken the extra GBE at shore or watched previous attacks. So I just can't stress it enough. If you're in a task force and someone's already attacked a base, please watch their attacks. Please check the notes. Please ask questions. I feel like Strange Mechanic should have finished Phobos, but nonetheless, we've got Penguin Lord comes in, and again, the note said take the free GBE, so kudos to Penguin Lord taking that free GBE, getting a couple extra cells, following the path that's already been laid down by the previous attacks. Look how pretty this is. The path is there. You don't have to watch YouTube. You don't have to watch live streams or anything. Just watch what your task force has already done. Take slight improvements. Look at this. Double smoke at the end. So critical. Please throw your smokes at the end. Troops sitting down. Nice and pretty. Penguin Lord, this attack was probably a little bit too easy for Penguin Lord. Probably could have done a stronger base, but to have Phobos go down was critical. That attack was fairly pretty, fairly clean, very, very well done. Now, my attack on Javanese. This attack made me a little bit sad. We've got a hot beach, 4 rocket launchers at beach. None of these cells over here are available because of this rocket launcher and all of these rocket launchers. And my drop was, it just made me a little... Now, just to clarify, I do a little bit different path on Java than everyone else. This is the path that I prefer. I don't think anyone else uses it. Look at my smokes had a bit of overlap. My flags were a little bit too far right. And you see, like, I start to lose a couple Zukas over there, and that drastically cost me. I like to use this back wall flare. This is all personal preference. This is how I like to do Javanese. Little bit sloppy. not exactly ideal, and it definitely cost me. So I think everyone has their own kind of Javanese path. Mine costs a little bit extra GB, but it's just what I'm used to. Double smoke at the end. Not a perfect attack. In the blind spot of those rocket launchers, I love that shock. That shock is so critical. And then it's just a matter of waiting and watching and hoping that it goes down. But it just doesn't quite go down. That flamethrower wrecks me. And look at the health. Just so close. I would give that attack like a B minus, B. Just I wasted a couple extra GBE and I made up. I am used to that path. It's not the best path though. That's just me not wanting to change a little bit. And then Zach comes in for the second attack on Humble Pie. Now this attack said Grenz. It did not say Gren Medic. So the fact that he has GBE the rocket launchers. Now just to back up, there are two general ways you can take down Humble Pie. You can send an attack over here, get these shield generators. You can send an attack to the back, get these shield generators with, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4 shocks probably. But we decided to just farm the right-hand side and open up a kill zone. So this attack has 3 too many boats of medics. The notes did not say bring medics, and in operation attacks, you should not bring medics. He shocks the machine guns even though he has medics. Little bit unfortunate there. So you'll notice there's a bunch of GBE wasted here because you have two choices here. Either you bring medics or you shock the machine guns. You don't do both. So a little bit unfortunate by Zach here. Does not let his medics do their work and does not bring enough grenadiers to do damage. So just on Humble Pie, please don't bring medics. On Fang, please don't bring medics. And if you do, don't use shocks. So a little bit unfortunate by Zach here, where he's using, you'll notice his medics are just standing around. So a little bit less damage than he should have. And you'll watch later on, Grens, medics still standing around. And this is very likely my notes being the problem here. And again, you'll notice that the shocks come out right about now. So again, you've got the rocket launchers shocked, but you have medics. You don't want to do both. Either shock the rocket launchers or let your medics do the work. I probably should have been more clear in my notes to say don't bring medics. Grens is all you need for this side of Humble Pie. You probably can't overheal those rocket launchers though, so he could have had more damage had he have had more Grens. Probably could have done a little bit better, but still a pretty good job. I would give that like a C+, B- in that general area. The important part to note there is anytime you attack Humble Pie or Fang, leave the medics at home. Medics are fantastic for PvP, but they're not terribly useful for operations. Now, Pramod, let's get into this. Pramod comes in following notes and gets the GBE rocking on the rocket launchers, farms some GBE at shore, and again, this is critical. That GBE is there to be used. Please, please farm it, but just don't hog it. Nice walk. Gets way outside the grappler. Very, very well done. Gets the smoke. Gets the nice diagonal walk. Gets the double smoke at the end. So far, I am very, very impressed. Doing all of the little things. Farming free GBE. Getting outside the grappler. Double smoke at the end. Critters, shock, shock. Now, so far, everything's going well except for he forgot to flare the rocket launchers. So he flares them a little bit late and does a fantastic job But had he have flared a little bit earlier, it could have been a little, like, watch this, gets all but, did he get the last rocket launcher? Yes, he did. So, I mean, gets all the rocket launchers, gets the machine guns, gets the mortars, a very, very good job. So you can't, I mean, and look at this, all the extra GBE on that laser. So that's like an A-. That's a B+. That's a good attack. Gets all of the things that are asked of him, but just forgot to flare a little bit early. So, but I mean, again, small deals. No Name comes in. You'll notice he's only boosted 2 statues here, which on deep cut is probably not going to cut it. Let's see what happens here. Critters to clear mines, please don't do that. Uses, the note was use extra GBE on the laser. He uses his GBE at the beginning. So far we're off to a bad start. Never ever clear mines with critters, and when it says use extra GBE on the laser beam, it means extra GBE at the end of the attack, not the beginning. Now, skips all of this free GBE at shore. So far we've got 3 mistakes. Critters to clear mines, extra GBE too early, and ignores the shore GBE. But nonetheless, so far, not all of the mistakes are fairly minor. Now, instead of flaring out wide by this mine, he flares in the middle. So far we've had 4 mistakes. Not such a great thing. Brick eats it. That's 5 mistakes or so. Not going incredibly well. That smoke is not bad though. Smoke. Trying to make a nice recovery. What do we got happening here? So, now that flare on the first shock blaster, never ever flare the closest shock blaster because the troops are going to target that anyways. Always flare something that's further in the back. So we're on a small boost. He just gets wrecked by the shock launcher, and he ends up taking out, I think, 1 shock blaster and 1 machine gun. Just not ideal. If your task force has agreed to do full boosts and you come in with a 2 statue boost, you're just going to cost everyone else more powder and more agony and make everyone behind you's attacks have to be better. So just don't be that guy. That's all I ask is you're in your mind you're thinking, hey, I'm going to save powder, but you're just going to be a jerk. So if you're not going to follow notes and you're going to underboost and you're going to have a mediocre attack, you're going to screw your task force. So please don't be that person. Not to pick on No Name, but that attack hurt the task force more than every other attack before that, was either following notes or well boosted or had a general feeling like they were trying, and No Name just shot them in the back a little bit there. So he also quit the task force and swore and said, screw you, I'm better than you guys, or something ridiculous. So I'm a little bit jaded there, but just don't be that guy. Now this attack scared the living bejesus out of me. So what I did was I calculated that he needed to clear 28 cells and the core would explode. And we're going to watch this. Mathor actually had it so that he needed 28 cells and the core would explode. And he had a full boost, and then his full boost expired. And then he decided to go unboosted on deep cut, which is a ballsy decision. So right now, it started out with 2 cells gone, so we're now at 3, so he's got 1. He has to get to 30 in order for the core to explode. So we're going to watch. We're at 3, which means he's at 1. This is just such a close hit. Do not let your boost expire. And if you do, don't go unboosted. Mathor gets so incredibly lucky here. We're at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23. He has to get to 28. 24. You'll notice rocket launchers are just kicking the crap out of him at this point. He's got 24 cells. He needs to get to 28 for the core to explode. There's 25, 26, 27. Now, obviously, he doesn't have to get all the way to 28 because he used a barrage on core. But look how many troops he has left. That was just so touch and go. That played with our hearts and made things incredibly dangerous. So please don't do that. Watch your boost. Please use your boost. And if your boost expires, use another boost. Even if you have to wait till double dip time, please use your boost. Now, Dr. Django Unchained does... What is he going to do here? That's right. GBE's the laser. This is critical. What we're going to try and do is clear core from about where these machine guns are, trying to keep it so that every little attack does fantastic work, clears a bunch of cells, farming GBE. Again, please farm GBE. Take all his available cells. So at this point, he's farmed cells, he's cleared the laser. He could just retreat right now and it'd be a good attack. But instead, keeps going, gets wide. You see that range of that grappler? He's gotten wide outside of it. No smokes. All is well. Gets wide. He gets even farther up. Watch this. Clears the mine with brick. I love it when people do that. Walking sideways. Gets... Now, one of the things that happens here is he forget double smoke at the end. Again, double smoke at the end. Collect GBE. Django is doing all of the right things. We're already 45 minutes in. Holy crap. Critters, shock, shock, shock. Everything is going. You notice he can do 4 shocks because he's collected all of the extra GBE. There goes Brick. Gets a little bit unlucky with those shock launchers. But look at this. Clearing, clearing, clearing. Little bit unlucky there. But again, doing all the little things. Collecting the GBE, getting wide, double smoke at the end. Please, like, that's all you can ask of someone. Sir Ken comes in. I haven't played with Sir Ken in years. GBEs, all of the rocket launchers. Now, you'll notice one of the important things here is he has rifles loaded. If he has hookah loaded, this attack does not work. If he has Zookas loaded, the attack does not work. Look at these rifles just eating it, just dying for the cause. Flares back, just the rifles are eating it. Please, people, follow notes. If there are cannons, if there are boom cannons, if there are shock blasters, load some rifles. Do what Sir Ken does here. Look at this. Look how much he's cleared. Just at 6 o'clock, there's a huge hole now. And then in comes Iceus. Oh, we're almost done. We're almost done. Let me just get a sip here. Nice drop. Now there's a little bit extra GBE over in here, but there are also shock launchers covering it. So you don't... This is the right choice. He could have gone for those if he really, really wanted to, but it's the right choice. Now, heavies are not the right call here. We've got shock blasters, we've got mortars. Heavies are not going to be helpful. And you'll notice that he doesn't double smoke at the end. Minus points for that. Heavies at this point are just a reduction of damage that you're able to do. Minor details, but he probably could have finished if he would have brung all Zookas. Brought. And then it's just clear hitting on core. If he would have skipped the heavies, he probably would have finished this, but that would have ruined the fun for everyone else, so not a big deal. I mean, the hits at this point, people were lining up to finish the core, so bringing a boat of heavies was not the end of the world. I would give this like a B- as well. Now, I ran gets an A+. I jokingly made the comment to say, please do a victory lap. Now watch this. This is my favorite attack of the operation. He does things a little bit wrong. Notice he's going to do a victory lap left to right. I would have clearly gone counterclockwise. On your victory lap, always go counterclockwise. Always turn left, as Zoolander has said. But nonetheless, he finishes. I mean, anytime you can do a victory lap around the core, you will get an A+ from me. I said it jokingly, so I have to give my props to Iran for doing the victory lap. Takes down the core. Now, I want to show who we had waiting in the background. We had 993 waiting for the core melt, and look at this guy's statues. Troop damage, troop damage, troop damage, troop damage, troop damage, troop damage. So, had Iran not finished, we had someone with 6 troop damage waiting in the wings to finish. We also had, where is Bubblehead? Bubblehead was also online waiting to finish, so props to Bubblehead. He only has, I don't know, I can't even find his statues. At least 3 troop damage to finish, but I gotta say, thank you very, very much to Trichon 2.0. If you have a task force and you're looking to improve, please follow their lead. Get some guest mentors in, whether it is Crazy Turtle or me or someone from the Trichon family or Chicken or Fusion, or if someone's on YouTube or someone you know is skilled, be it a... I don't even know. There are so many fantastic players out there. Get them in, have them run your notes, run your task force for a day. Don't make it more than a day. And but I gotta say, this was incredibly fun for me and incredibly satisfying for me. And I can't say thank you enough to Trichon for inviting me. And please, let's spread the word. Let's get guest mentors in every task force, because the bottom line is you've probably been doing things the same way for days or weeks or months. And if you're the leader of a task force, you can't say to someone, hey, dude, that was shitty. Please don't do that. But to get someone else in to say it, maybe it'll mean a little bit more, or it'll help or something. But I think that things like this are how we advance the game. So I have to say props to Jay Hendy and Feynman and all of the Trichon 2.0 crew for coming up with this, because this is something that I will definitely be looking at doing for the Triangle 9, Small 9, Baby 9, all of those sorts of things. Because anytime you can get an outside opinion, it's you'll remove a bit of blinders. So that's all I have. I hope I was not overly critical. I don't know how these players typically play. Most of these players, I assume, are fantastic players. I'm not going to go through their past hits, but I'm going to give them a bit of slack because this is the first time their hits have been shared publicly, possibly. This is the first time that they've had... This is only the second time they've had a guest mentor in. So, kudos to Trichon 2.0. Thank you very much for having me. This meant more than I can explain to me. Like, just to come in and be asked for my opinion meant a lot to me. But thank you very much, and congratulations on taking down Deep Cut. That is a fantastic achievement for a 25-person task force. That's all I got. I'm going to go back to drinking beer and hanging out with my wife. But thanks for having me in, and best of luck in the future. Peace.